The world fell in love with Amanda Gorman when she delivered that incredible speech at the inauguration, a true inspiration and a moment that we all needed, filled with hope. So Canada's own designer of Greta Constantine, Kirk Pickersgill, got the call to dress her for the cover of Time magazine. So he's joining us now to talk about this amazing honor. Welcome, Kirk. That is so cool. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Deepa. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, when I read this, I was like, what? That must have been so cool. So, take me back to that moment when you got the phone call that you were going to work with Amanda for the cover of Time magazine. What was running through your head?
Well, it was very quick what happened. Her stylist requested some clothes for a photo shoot for Time magazine, and this was a Wednesday. And so we were so afraid that the clothes wouldn't arrive just because of the pandemic that's going on, and it's deliveries slowing down. So we were just petrified that it wouldn't arrive on time. So we get the call. I'll fast forward to, let's say, the Friday, the day of the shoot. We get the call saying that, okay, she wore the dress. But again, that's once you hear that, it's like, okay, it's a good thing that they're wearing the dress, but it's not a confirmation. So, we thought that was a great thing. So I was at home. Ordered my pizza, sitting down, about to watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Just a Friday, and I get this text message from our press officer in LA, and she's like, call me, and I'm like, call you? It's like, okay, Friday night. Okay, something good must have happened. So then I'm getting a phone call from my senior manager of sales and communications, Jesse. He's like, calling me, pizza's at the door. I'm trying to find Brooke's phone number. So I finally call her, and she's like, Amanda Gorman? I'm like, yes, of course. And she's like, well, and I'm expecting to hear, okay, she wore the dress again, and it's going to be inside the bag. And she's like, well, you got the cup.
What?
And I am telling you, it was a bag of emotions. I basically dropped the phone and started crying.
Oh my gosh. Like that photo, that outfit to me is now like an iconic look. So how did you feel as a Canadian designer that all happened and Time was recognizing your work, Amanda was recognizing your work?
Well, it's historic. It's an historic event, an historic moment. It's part of history now. And, being Black History Month was even more of a prouder moment. Because, both Stephen and I are Jamaican. So it wasn't just from our Jamaican roots, but also from our Canadian upbringing. So for us, it wasn't just brand awareness. It's just at a time that's really sad is looking at that magazine cover now, her wearing that color yellow, which means hope and positivity. Mm-hmm. It just, for us as a company, it just shows that not only your dreams can come true, but there's hope for what's the future.
Oh, 100%. And we were talking about this before we went live. And Greta Constantine, it's going into its 15th year, and you started it with.
Can you believe it?
15 years. I cannot believe it. I feel like that is such a long time to be such a staple in the industry. And obviously, you started this with Stephen Wong. So after all of those years of experience, how has your brand evolved, and where do you see it going in the future?
Again, the future is every day, and this pandemic really, it was hard because it was basically like starting the company from scratch again. Mm-hmm. So, because we had to contact the retailers, reassure them that the company's in business and that everything's going to be fine. But at the same time, they're not knowing. So, just the fact that we're celebrating 15 years, it just goes to show that we have more than 15 years ahead of us.
Oh, yeah. And every time I go on your website and I look at your outfits, I'm just like, wow, high fashion. I'm like, what would I look like in one of those outfits? I absolutely
you need to come by the studio.
Okay, you know what? After the break, I might just run over. So obviously, being a designer is such a creative industry to be in. So for you, what is the most fulfilling part about being a designer?
The most fulfilling part about being a designer is once you see your work on women, on people, let's just say on people. It's a gratifying feeling, and it's, from someone from the cover or just a woman that's going to an event, someone wearing to a wedding. It's just, that is the most humble, well, we're humble for it, but it's the same exciting thing to happen.
Oh, for sure. And this question I feel is like a toughie. If you could dress one person that you have not dressed before, and do not feel obligated to say me, because I know that would be your answer, who would it be and why?
Okay, now you put that, the question's been asked all the time. if I give you one name, like, I'm kaput. Give me
Give me the list. Give me the list.
There's a list of people. But again, it's always a pleasure and it's always exciting to see somebody wearing our clothes.
Yeah, and I feel like, again, 15 years of longevity and 15 more years plus to come. So thank you so much, Kirk, for your time. And where can we find you on social media?
On social media, I'm an Instagram based. Well, me, Kirk Pickersgill on Instagram, Greta Constantine on Instagram, Greta Constantine, I think, on Twitter. I'm probably the worst person to ask you this question. But just Google us, you'll find it. Greta Constantine.
Google has all of the answers.
Or just Google Amanda Gorman. Yellow dress.
Kirk, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. And congratulations again on that massive accomplishment.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And guys, next up on BT, celebrating you, your birthdays and celebrations, coming up next.